Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life from the Wrist. Hope you guys are doing well today. Happy New Year. If I haven't said it already, we're going to be looking at a new Departures magazine. This is the January-February of 2021, so the official first Departures magazine we're going to be covering for the new year. This is the Escape issue, and I have to say, as soon as I look at the cover of this magazine, it makes me want to go snowboarding. But obviously, the majority of the world is in lockdown, so that's kind of not possible. But we're going to be covering the watches that are found in this Departures magazine. There are some cool ones in here. There's a really cool hand shot that I'm excited to show you guys in here. Obviously, a lot of this has to do with holidaying in the winter months. And it has a combination of looking at winter sports and winter environments, and then obviously escaping, hence the title of the magazine anyway, escaping to warmer climates. And so we're gonna be looking at the watches inside of this magazine. We have a whole series where we do this. You probably have seen some of the other videos where we've done this, so be sure to check those out. And with this said, guys, let me flip perspectives and get right into this magazine. All right, welcome to the magazine. So as you can see, like I said, the cover of this magazine is obviously snow sport related. It's the Escape issue, so it's going to have a lot to do with travel. This is from January, February of 2021. I obviously am hugely into snow sports. I snowboard, I used to ski, and so this cover really was just like, it basically made me say I really wish I was able to go and snowboard right now, but with lockdown I'm being responsible and not doing that, and I hope you all are staying safe with all of that. But yeah, Escape issue, it's going to have a lot more to do with travel, but there are some common watches that we've seen in the past in this magazine, and many similar brands that kind of do their advertising in this magazine. So obviously the cover, you can see Tiffany is a heavily covered entity in this magazine, and they've obviously got some really beautiful bracelets and rings with the typical Tiffany design. And if we just kind of continue here again, this is another very common advertiser in here, Van Cleef, obviously, with their kind of iconic Van Cleef design there. And as you can see, like I said, winter related travel is going to be a big part of here. I've actually never been to Alaska. It's a place that I'd love to go to, and it looks like an absolutely beautiful place. Moving forward, we got some more advertisers for jewelry, and then I also mentioned kind of escaping to warmer climates, and I think this is kind of a good example of that here. We've got some nice interior decor here, and then we stumble across our first watch of the magazine, if you want to call it that. We've seen a bunch of these Richard Mille's before, but this is the RM7201, which is actually one I don't think we've actually covered too much in this magazine. I don't think there are too many of these out there. As you can see, very typical Richard Mille case design, but I think it's got an interesting complication. So it looks like we've got a date, a 60-second counter for the chronograph, which is something Richard Mille's in itself are quite incredible, but having a chronograph complication is even more incredible. I'll try and give you guys a little bit more of a close-up on the watch itself. I'll just fold it over like that, so you can see date function. Then we have the chronograph hand. We got the 60-second counter up here, a 24-hour counter down here, and I believe this is the seconds that will tell you the time. So a pretty cool Richard Mille. We haven't seen a lot of chronographs in these magazines, but it's a Richard Mille, very similar advertising aesthetics that they've done with other watches that they have, and obviously they list their boutiques at the bottom. So a cool Richard Mille and a chronograph, which is obviously my favorite complication. I'm wearing my memo sale today, and so yeah. If we turn the page, another Richard Mille, very typical advertisement where it kind of connects it with something in nature. This one we have a mushroom. This is one that we've seen in previous versions of the Departure magazine, with its red bracelet, kind of red interior, as well as the date function. I can kind of give you another close-up of this one so that you can see it. A lot of diamonds, to say the least. but a pretty cool watch in itself. I think Richard Mille has really begun to get a lot of recognition for what they're doing. I think they've always gotten a lot of recognition for what they're doing in watchmaking, but I remember maybe 5 years ago they used to get a lot of hate for their watches, because everyone thought that they were very similar to just producing very expensive watches and putting fairly mass-produced watch complications that are altered a little bit, but they're doing a much better stuff than that. So moving forward, we have some more things that have to do with travel. You can see Palm Beach, so obviously escaping kind of the winter months. What's interesting about this is, you see all these things and looking to kind of, obviously escape to the more sunnier climates. But what's interesting about it is, right now, I don't think people are, safely, I don't think it's really something that I would really want to do. But you never know. You never know. So moving forward, again, we've got some more advertisements for places to travel. You can see here an absolutely beautiful picture of someone on a boat with these stingrays. This is a really cool experience in the Cayman Islands, and the water in the Caribbean in itself is just absolutely stunning. You can see here a really cool article about how to travel now, taking into consideration the work from home that we have, and the fact that it's very difficult to be to travel in this type of environment. It kind of goes over, if you are fully remote, these are some nice places that you can go. There are a lot of places that are actually offering to pay you to come and travel there, so I thought that was kind of cool, and their flights are very inexpensive. A really picture that hit home for me is obviously some snow skis and snowboard gear. I would love to go and do that. Moving forward, we've got some more snow gear and some places to travel, and then we stumble across our next kind of group of watches in this magazine, and this is the one that I was talking about that I thought was really cool. This is kind of this sorry about that. This part of the magazine, this is, this basically says, time for action, high performance timepieces that add pizzazz to any adventure, whether you're diving, driving, sailing, or shushing. And so we've got 3 watches here. The first is a Chopard Mille 2020 Race Edition. The second is a Panerai Gold Tech Oro Carbo, and then the third is a Audemars Piguet offshore self-winding chronograph. And so let me give you guys some close-ups of these watches. So the first one we've got there is the Chopard Mille, which I think the Mille chronograph is chronometer certified and has a fairly good reputation as a chronograph. So a really cool watch there. Then we've got the Panerai, which has a glare on it from the advertisement, but a pretty cool watch. Looks like it's got kind of like a gold tone case with a rubber strap. And then the last one, I'll just flip it so that you guys can see it, is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Chronograph in a 2-tone case. Obviously, these are varying prices. I think this one here, it says the Chopard is $8,400 US. The Panerai is $30,000 US, and then the offshore is $45,900. So varying in price, obviously the Chopard being the least expensive. I actually find that the offshore doesn't really fit my wrist very well. I have smaller wrists. It's no question about that. So I actually think the Chopard would probably fit my wrist the best, especially because Panerais are also quite large. But I mean, this watch here is 44 millimeters, and I think it fits my wrist perfectly. So, so yeah. Those are the next couple of watches. And then as we kind of go forward, there weren't really too many watches left in this magazine. There were some cool articles about obviously places to travel. This one's about Costa Rica and the different places you can go to in the jungle and the foods that are cooked there, and kind of the history and culture of it. Then you can, hit the slopes. You can go do some snowboarding. This one is in Powder Mountain in Utah in the United States. And it kind of continues with the life that the things that you can do while you're there. Some cool places here that you can kind of travel to. This I thought was a really cool kind of image here. Very vintage inspired and really cool bathtubs. So I thought was quite cool. Going forward, there is some fashion that is associated with the winter months, and obviously that's kind of what these images here are about. And then there's some interesting images here about individuals who own this really cool restaurant and wine inspired place in Charleston in the United States. I really wish they took this picture on the other side of the people so we could see if they were wearing watches, but it is what it is. They have a wine shop, and that's kind of what this article is about. And kind of as we continue forward, again, not too many watches. Like, I can't even see the wrist from this person, and then here it doesn't look like the individual's actually wearing a watch. So not too many watches on these individuals' wrists, and some more advertising for exploring Turkey. I have been to Turkey a couple of times, and it's a really cool place with some beautiful food. If you are a food enthusiast, it's a great place to go. And so that is kind of the watches that are in this issue of the Departures magazine. So some cool watches, really cool places to travel as well, and obviously a focus on either escaping to warmer climates or hitting the slopes or going to colder climates like Alaska. Some cool watches. My favorite would probably be that Chopard chronograph, just because I think it's going to fit my wrist a little bit better. But without further ado, guys, thank you for taking a look at this, and I'll switch perspectives so we can close out the video. Great, so I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at this new issue of the Departures magazine. There are some really cool watches in here. Obviously Richard Mille is like Departures Central, but there were some other cool watches in here that I enjoyed looking at. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video if you liked kind of looking at the watches and looking at the content inside of these Departures magazine. It really does help us out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.